Hello, my name is Olurotimiosha. I like talking about American presidents, and I'm continuing with my discussion on the Israeli US war against Iran, which was precipitated with the decapitation of the Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on February the 28th, 2026, just a few days ago. So one of the reasons purported for the strikes on Iran, the war against Iran, is to forestall Iran's attempt at developing nuclear weapons. So previously, since last year, of course, America struck several sites, nuclear sites, and claiming that its Iran's nuclear program had been obliterated. So, and of course, Israel has, has always expressed its resolve that Iran would not be able to acquire nuclear weapons. Now, something that I wanted to talk about is uh, I've had general discussions. I wanted to talk about Iran's perspective. Iran's foreign minister has claimed that, well, Iran pursues its nuclear program for peaceful means, right? And that it is only using developing its nuclear program for research, peaceful research, and civilian energy. And it's it claims that, and it does raise the fact that Iran is a signatory of the NPT, that's Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which Israel is not. Um, in any event, considering the attack, the strike on Iran, many people will say, well, that would even give it more reason, more justification to want to acquire nuclear weapons for its protection. But, that's not my call. I'm just an observer, a historian observing what's going on. So, but I want to talk about the history of Iran's um, nuclear program. And in the past, there have actually been assassinations of Iran's scientists, which of course are violations of human rights violations. They violate international law. So Iranian scientists have been killed since 2007. At least 15 of them have been killed between 2007 and 2026, and Iran um, claims that the Mossad has been responsible for the assassinations. Examples of the assassinations include, notable nuclear scientists and professors of physics. One that comes to mind is the the 2010 assassination of Masood Ali Mohammadi, who was a professor of physics at University of Tehran, when an explosive device attached to a motorcycle, killed him just as he was leaving his home, and his wife heard the explosion. Um, Someone was arrested. There are several people who were arrested, and one party confessed, saying that he was working with the Mossad to assassinate the scientist. That's the professor Masood Ali Mohammadi, in order to impede Iran's development of nuclear weapons. Another person that comes to mind is uh, Mustafa Ahmadi Roshana, who was assassinated in 2012 in the same way, in the same manner. And he was a professor of physics as well. He was a nuclear scientist from Sharif University. So uh, it's kind of interesting that um, it's ironic, let me say, that uh, Iran's original participation in a nuclear program was actually sponsored by the United States in 1957. So then, America has sponsored Iran under the Shah when for the what was called Atoms for Peace, an Atoms for Peace program, and Iran had been supplied highly enriched uranium for its program and to pursue an advanced, uh, uh, program with about 10 to 20 nuclear reactors in the 1970s under the Shah. So it's of course, then its purpose was to use nuclear energy for research and civilian energy. Uh, However, once the Shah was overthrown in the Islamic Revolution of 1979, and the Americans were seized at the embassy in 1979 uh, in a standoff. Uh, of course, America then subsequently imposed sanctions. The United States, the United Nations Security Council, and the European Union, they imposed sanctions, uh, absolutely restricting and just basically trying to circumvent Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons or a nuclear program. Iran, while it has insisted that it's trying to its research and its development is for peaceful means. Um, Evidence indicate that it's been undertaking a clandestine program to enrich uranium to develop nuclear weapons. Um, so it's very dicey, but as I was researching this, just studying this, I came to, I was very impressed, finding out about how brilliant Iran scientists are. Many people don't know this, but I've done previous videos talking about Iran's ancient civilization in biblical times in terms of religion. But apart from that, Iran's also noteworthy in uh, in considering that it's the first um, center for higher education, for higher learning. Let's call it the first university. The first university is said to have been established in Iran in 271 AD, right? Concurrent with concurrent with the height of the Roman Empire, 271 AD, Iran was supposed to have established the first university under the Sassanid uh, Empire. The university was called the Academy of Gandhi Shapur, right? So it was a prominent center for science, medicine, and philosophy. And Iran has continued in that. Um, it's continued along that trajectory of excellence in the in scientific research and output through its numerous prominent universities, which it still has today. In 1851, Iran established Dar al Funun. Dar al Funun was it's Iran's first polytechnic, uh, which was a center for science and medicine and engineering and military science, that has been absorbed into the University of Tehran, which was established in 1934. So Iran also has several other prominent universities that are very notable and globally competitive in terms of scientific production. In fact, Iran is ranked 15th in the world in terms of scientific production, right, in its institutions. Iran's 1,000, 1,000 of Iran's researchers, right, 1,000 of Iran's researchers are ranked in the top 1% for in citations, right, amongst the most cited researchers globally, according to Essential Science Indicators database. So, they produce these outstanding scientists that are very ambitious and they remain globally competitive despite the sanctions, right? Despite the sanctions from the European Union, the sanctions from the United States, the sanctions from the United Nations Security Council that obstructs, their banking, their energy sector, and their military. Um, they continue, their scientists continue to make great strides and remain very globally, impactful globally, and they're particularly prominent in areas in nanotechnology, pharmacology, material science, you know, chemistry and engineering. So I think they make a case to be able to you know they make a strong case to pursue um, research in nuclear science, right? Nuclear science, nuclear technology for peaceful means, and you know, uh, reckless and disrespectful attacks infringing on their sovereignty, like which occurred uh, on February 28th and 2026, and which is ongoing. It's a flagrant disregard of a nation's sovereignty. In fact, the attack is worse than what Ukraine had done what Russia had done against Ukraine. At least Russia has not uh, assassinated, uh, Ukraine's incumbent president, and this is what has occurred for Iran. So it's I don't think two wrongs don't make a right. There's that proverb: two wrongs don't make a right. So if we're trying to hold, if we're criticizing people um, for acting like terrorists and rogue nations, we don't um, we should set an example. We should set an example by not um, acting like terrorists and conducting ourselves or undertaking um, activities that are consistent with um, rogue nations and terrorist behavior. So uh, so anyway, I think I've my purpose in this video was just to talk about the acclaim Iranian scientists have been able to achieve, and the abhorrent assassinations of their scientists. It's really crude that a scientist should be assassinated for doing research or doing their work or trying to create, do scientific research, and if they're deemed to be doing something criminal, then they should be arrested and, you know, face the law instead of being subjected to indiscriminate assassinations. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this video here. My name is Olurotimi Osha, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you.